Trushbeard. There was once a king who had a daughter. She was more beautiful than words can tell, but at the so proud he same time so proud he oddly that no man who who came to her was good enough for her. She turned away one after another and even mocked them. One day her father ordered a great feast to be given and invited to all the marriageable young men from far and near. They were all placed in a row according to their rank and position. First came king, then princes, then dukes, earls, and barons. The princess was led through the ranks, but she had some fault to find with all of them. One was too stout. "That barrel," she said. The next was too tall. "Long and lean is no good." Third was too short. "Short and stout. Can't turn about." The fourth was too white. "Pale as death." The fifth was too red. "Turkey cock." The sixth was not straight. "Over dried." So there was something against each of them, but she made especially merry over one good king who stood quite at the head of the row, and whose chin was a little hooked. "Why," she cried, "he has a chin like the back of a thrush." After that he was always called King Thrushbeard. When the old king saw that his daughter only made fun of them, and that he despised all the suitors who were assembled, he was very angry. He, s- he swore that the first beggar who came to the door should be her husband. A few days afterward, a wandering musician began to sing at the window, hoping to receive charity. When the king heard him, he said, "Let him be brought in." The musician came in dressed in dirty rags and sang to the king and his daughter. And when he had finished, he he begged alms of them. The king said, "Your has pleased me so much that I'll give you my daughter for wife." The princess was horror stricken, but the king said, "I have sworn an oath to give you to the first beggar who came, and I will keep my word." No entires were of any avail. A parson who a parson who brought, and she had to marry the musician there and then. When the ceremony was completed, the king said, "Now that you are a beggar woman, you can't stay in my castle any longer. You must go away with your husband." The beggar took her by the hand and led her away, and she was obligated to go with him on foot. When they came to a big wood, she asked, "Ah, who is the lord of this forest so fine?" "It belongs to King Thrushbeard." "It might have been thine. If this queen you if this queen you have had been, ah, sad must I sing. I would I'd accept the love of the king." Then they reached a great meadow, and she asked again, "Ah, who is the lord of these meadows so fine?" They belonged to King Trushbeard and would have been thine. If his queen you had been, ah, ah sad must I sing. I, I would I'd accept the hand of the king. They passed through a large town, and again she said, ah, who is the lord of this city so fine? It belongs to King Thrushbird, and it might have been thine. If his queen you had been, ah sad must I sing. I I'd accept the heart of the king. It it doesn't please me at all, said the musician, that you are wishing for another husband. Am I not good enough for you? At last they came to a miserable hovel, and she said, ah, heavens, what's this house? So mean and small. This wretched little hut, no house at all. The musician answered, this is my house and yours. When we are to live together. The door was so low that she had to stoop to get in. Where are the servants? Asked the princess. Servants indeed, answered the beggar. Whatever you want done, you must do for yourself. Light the fire and put the kettle on to make my supper. I am very tired. But the princess knew nothing about lighting fires or cooking, and to get it done at all, the beggar the beggar had to do it himself. When they had finished their tumble fare, they went to bed. But in the morning, the man made her get up very early to do the housework. They lived like this for a few days, till they had eaten up all their store of food. The man said, "Why, this won't this won't do any longer. You can't live here without working. You shall make baskets." So he went out to cut some willow twigs and brought them home. She began to weave them, but the hard twigs bruised her tender hands. "I see that won't do," said the beggar. "You had better spin. Perhaps you can manage that." So he so she sat down and tried to spin, but the harsh yarn soon cut her delicate fingers and made them bleed. "Now you see," said the man, "that you what a good for nothing you are. I have made a bad bargain in you, but I will try to start a trade in the earthenware. You must sit in the market and offer your goods for sale." Alas, she thought, if any of these people from my father's kingdom come and see me sitting in the market place offering goods for sale, they will scoff at me. But it was no good. She had to obey unless she meant to die of hunger. All went all went well the first time. The people willingly brought their wares because she was so handsome, and they paid what she asked them. Nay, some even gave her the money the left the left her the pots as well. Money and left her the pots as well. They lived on the the gains as long as they lasted, and then the man laid in a new stock of wares. She took her seat in the corner of the market, set out her crockery about her, and began to cry her wares. Suddenly a duke and hussar came galloping up and rode right in among the pots, breaking them into thousands of bits. She began to cry, and she was so frightened that she did not know what to do. "Oh, what will become of me?" she cried. "What will my husband say to me?" She ran home and her told him her misfortune. "Who would ever think of sitting in the corner of the market with crockery?" he said. "Stop the crying. I see are no manner you are no manner to of any decent kind of work. I have been to your king's palace and asked if they, they do not they do not want a kitchen wrench, and they have promised to try you. You will get your victuals free at any rate." So the princess be- became a kitchen wrench and had to wait upon the cook and do all the dirty work. She tried a pot into each of her pockets, and in them took home her share of the scalps and leavings, and upon these they lived. It so happened that the marriage of the eldest princess took place just then, and the poor girl went upstairs and stood behind the curtains to peep at all the splendor. When the rooms were lightened up, and she saw the guests steaming in, one more beautiful than the other, and the scents grew more and more brilliant, she thought with the heavy heart and of her sad fate. She crushed the pride of haughtiness which had been the cause of her humiliation and of her being brought to such depths. Ever now and then, if, for now and then, the servants would throw her bits of the savory dishes they were carrying from away from the feast, and these she put into her pots and to take home. But at once the king's son came in. She was he was dressed in silk and velvet, and he had a golden chain around his neck. When he saw the beautiful girl standing at the door, he seized her by the hand and wanted to dance with her. But she shrank and refused, because she saw that it was the king Trushbeard who had been one of the suitors of her of her hand, and whom she had most scornfully driven away. Her resistance was no use, and he dragged her into the hall. The string of which her pockets were suspended broke. Down fell the pots, and the soup and savory morasses were split all over the floor. When the guests saw it, they burst into shouts and mocking laughter. She was so ashamed that she would gladly have shrunk into the earth. She rushed to the door and tried to escape, but on the stairs a man stopped her and brought her back. When she looked at him, she saw that it was no other than King Trushbeard again. He spoke kindly to her and said, "Do not be afraid. I, I am the beggar man who lived in the poor little hovel with you, and one are one and the same. For for love of you I disguised myself, and I was also the hussar who rode along your pots. Also this I did to bend your proud spirit and punish you for the haughtiness with which you mocked me. She wept bitterly and said, I was very wicked and I am not worthy to be your wife. But he said, be happy, those evil days are over. Now we will celebrate our true wedding. The waiting woman came and put rich clothing upon her, and her father, with all his court, came and wished her joy on her marriage with King Trushbeard. Then, in truth, her happiness began. I wish we had been there to see it, you and I. The end.